Present the $125,000 Tucson Open. Welcome to beautiful Golden Pin Lanes here in Tucson, Arizona for this afternoon's $125,000 Tucson Open Championship. Hi, everybody. I'm Denny Schreiner, and welcome to the second oldest PBA Tour site. That's right. They started bowling here in Tucson back in 1962. And that very first tournament was captured by none other than Mr. Bowling, Don Carter. In 1982, my partner, Mike Durbin, ended up defeating Nelson Burton Jr. Let's talk about our top seed, John Mazza. Mike, if he wins today, he becomes the only player this year on the tour to have 4 victories.
Danny, I think John is really the all-American success story. He struggled 7 years out here as really a journeyman pro. Suddenly in 1991, though, John Mazza has found himself. He has won 3 times already. This is his 7th appearance in the championship round. No matter what happens this afternoon, he's going over the $100,000 mark. He could be the first player to win 4 titles, and he's already in contention for PBA Player of the Year. In 1991, John Mazza is a different bowler.
Michael, all the way back in 1983, Norm Duke became the youngest PBA champion ever when he captured a Cleveland tournament at the tender age of 18. Now, 8 years later, he's having his best year. He seems to have blossomed.
Well, Norm Duke is probably maybe the most versatile player on the PBA Tour today. He's learned to play all different angles on the lane, and he's learned to play it throwing the ball straight and hard, throwing the ball slow and hooking it. He can do just about anything. He's an excellent spare shooter. He has only won 1 time this year, but this is his 7th appearance in the championship round. He's going to win more titles, a couple more, and he'll be in contention for PBA Player of the Year also.
2 years ago, when Dave Ferraro captured the Firestone Tournament of Champions, it was probably the highlight of his bowling career. Since that time, though, Mike, he has bowled very solid, gotten to the championship round on a number of occasions, but he is 1-11 during that stretch.
Well, you know, that 1-11 started even before the 1990 Firestone Tournament of Champions. That's his only 1 victory. That was the shining moment of his career. But Dave Ferraro has the reputation as a solid person and a solid player, and one that you could trust to throw a strike for your life if you're going to trust anybody. So he has that good reputation. He just has not been getting the breaks. We'll see if he gets them tonight.
Perseverance pays off in the end. That's what Walter Ray Williams Jr. is hoping for, because let's talk about some streaks. His last title came in Edmond on ESPN back in 1987. Since that time, he has bowled for 12 titles. He's 0 for 12.
What's amazing about all that is that his attitude during that stretch, to me, has remained remarkably upbeat. He has not gotten bitter or down on his luck or down on himself. He has stayed rather positive and is sure that he is going to win again. You know, he is a national horseshoe champion a number of times, and I think that experience helps him in bowling also. He's going to win again. And an interesting stat, that last tournament that he won in Edmond in 1987, there were 4 left-handers on the telecast that afternoon. Today we have 2. Maybe that's a good omen for Walter Ray Williams Jr.
All right, you lead me into our number 5 seed, Jess Stayroom, who always seems to bowl well when the shot is inside on the left side.
Well, Jess throws that great big hook ball, Denny, and he likes to get in where he can throw the ball to the left and know that it's going to come back. Earlier this year, he won our flagship Open in Erie, Pennsylvania, but he won that from the top spot. This afternoon, he has to beat 4 quality opponents. He has to beat a former PBA Player of the Year. He has to beat a Firestone Tournament of Champions winner, and he has to beat 2 of the rising young stars on the PBA Tour. So it's a rough task for Jess Stayroom this afternoon, Dan.
The winner this afternoon, who knows? Maybe he'll end up in the PBA Hall of Fame someday, like the 11 others that we've already mentioned. Of course, we'll be showing you those as we go to some of our commercial breaks. Sit back, enjoy the Tucson Open. It comes up next on ESPN. The championship round finals of the $125,000 Tucson Open are being brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers, who reminds you friends know when to say when. And by Pizza Hut, home of the incredible picnic pear steel. Pizza Hut, making it great. When we come back to Golden Pin Lanes, Jess Stayroom and Walter Ray Williams Jr. will start the opening match of the $125,000 Tucson Open.
Good times with friends. Hey, they're special. Sometimes you wish they would never end. The care you show is just as special. Friends know when to say when.
The family of Budweiser beers is proud of all the friendships they've helped make. So when they remind you to know when to say when, it's all in the name of friendship.
Friends know when to say when.
You call Pizza Hut?
Yep.
Good thing they deliver. Yep.
Though if Pizza Hut didn't deliver, I guess we could call that other place.
What other place?
Why are people changing to Pizza Hut delivery? Because now they can get America's favorite pan pizza, loaded with toppings and 2 layers of cheese, delivered right to their door.
Time for a game? No thanks. Maybe some people just don't like Domino's anymore.
Guess not.
Pizza Hut delivery, making it great.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're here at ringside for the fight card of the century. Sports Illustrated proudly presents history's greatest knockout video with commentary from Mike Tyson. And the video is free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. Call now and get ringside seats to this illustrious event. You'll witness over 40 of the most memorable, most talked about fights in boxing history. And you'll be knocked out when you hear that the video is free. Yes, it's free when you subscribe to Sports Illustrated, the magazine that gives you hard-hitting stories and photos week after week. And you'll get the football preview issues and the 92 swimsuit issue. Call now and save over 55% off the cover price. You'll get 23 issues for 3 easy monthly installments of $9.99 each. For faster delivery, use your credit card. So call now. Witness Foreman versus Roman, Lewis versus Khan, Liston versus Clay, and see Mike Tyson become the youngest heavyweight champion ever. Call to order or renew today. Use your credit card. Get knockout savings on Sports Illustrated and get history's greatest knockout video free.
And welcome back to Golden Pin Lanes in Tucson, Arizona. Just about ready to start the championship round finals of this year's Tucson Open Championship. And I know that you have fond memories of the Tucson area, Mike. You always enjoyed bowling here.
Seemed like I always bowled well here. I finished first in '82, but I had a couple other seconds and a third. Always loved being around the pool here and enjoyed the area and the people.
Walter Ray Williams Jr. opens up the championship round and basically shooting with a spare ball.
Well, the lanes are hooking more, especially on the right. And this ball goes straighter. We saw how much it finished there to leave the 4-pin. So Walter Ray, who's very, very versatile himself, can throw it straight and hook it. As he throws it this spare, he kills the shot completely and actually changes the roll, where the roll moves from outside the thumb to slightly inside the thumb, almost a perfect full roller, but it'll nick the thumb hole on occasion.
Which would help it straighten out even more.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be rolling hard to knock down 1 pin. Just has to hit it like that, even on a bounce.
Bumps away, and Walter Ray opens with a spare in the first. Our 5 television finalists averaged just a little better than 217 on this particular pair of lanes throughout the week, and individually, Jess Stayroom averaged 225.
But we talked about him playing inside during the week, and it looks like on the first game anyway that he's going to play outside.
Gets a handful on the opening shot. Ball comes up just a little bit light. In practice, every one of those shots just came screaming back, so the oil's beginning to carry down.
And that's what happens. The ball, again, acts as a transport. It carries that oil from the front of the lane to the back of the lane. That oil begins to build up, and the lane actually gets tighter as we go along.
So should you, if you're a player in the championship round and you get a very good reaction in the first 5 or 10 minutes of practice, should you just quit practicing your strike shots?
It depends on the individual. I know a number of players have done that in the past. Earl Anthony used to do that. Ooh. He practiced the spares, though, Den. Jess Stayroom holds that ball down. He's a power player. See that first step with the right foot. Now the ball starts even late in motion. It's almost a 3-step approach. Real short next to the last step. See the right arm out for balance. Not a lot of knee bend there, Dan. When you see short backswings like that, though, usually that means that the player is accurate.
John Mazza was kidding with Jess Stayroom during the practice session. He calls him meat hook because of the way he's so strong, throws that ball, gets all the roll. He can turn a little bit.
Yes, he can.
Turns this one just right, and he strikes on the left-hand lane. His opening strike here in the championship round.
When Walter Ray first came on the tour, he used to hook the ball as much as Jess Stayroom on the other side. But he's opted for a more straighter approach the last number of years and has had great success with it.
You heard Walter Ray say carry. Now, this is the problem you get into when you use the type of ball he's using right now. you're not going to have nearly as much pin action, so you're going to be able to hit the pocket, but you might not necessarily be able to strike.
Well, what you're doing is he's picking a lower surface friction bowling ball. He doesn't want the ball to bite as much because the lane is hooking so much that it's going to provide enough friction to bring the ball in there. But you're going to get a couple of 10 pins here and there. Of course, you leave those with any bowling balls.
Mm-hmm. Old Deadeye, dead on the 10-pin on lane 16.
As it rumbled down there.
Well, this is a bit of a rematch, Michael, because these two faced each other earlier this year in the title match over in Erie, Pennsylvania, and Jess won that match 256 to 207.
Another one of those many defeats that Walter Ray has had since 1987.
What an incredible record. I mean, he was one of the, well, he was 1986 Player of the Year and came back in 87, had a solid year, and since that time he's bowled for 12 titles and has yet to win one. I mean, when was that streak going to end?
You keep thinking that a player of his caliber, it has to end any time now. But amazing, you know, it's not like he's been bowling bad every time. His opponent's been shooting big games at him. A tremendous lift that he has there, and accuracy out to the first board, and solid in the 1-3 pocket.
Came up light the last time, not this time. Beautiful adjustment, and Stayroom now doubles and leads by 11.
It looked like all he did was swing it more. Send it further to the left, but keep it on the lane. Takes an 11-pin lead. A lot of the young players, this is their types of adjustment. They don't necessarily move, they throw it wider. They move their eyes. Instead of looking at the 3rd or 4th board, they'll look at the 2nd board.
Well, that ball's hooking about, what, 15, 16 boards in the last 10, 12 feet?
Correct. Again, the pocket's on board 17. It's getting out to right around the 2nd board and coming back.
But it's at the 2nd board at 50 feet.
Whew. Just like I always used to throw it.
Yeah, if you were shooting the 10-pin, maybe, or the 7-pin. A 3-bagger for Stayroom, who has the hot hand early on. He leads by 21 here in the opening match. And we talked about some of the great Hall of Famers that have already won here in Tucson. There's Mr. Bowling in 1962. Good friend of yours, Glenn Allison, came back and won in 64. And the Tiger in 65. That was a memorable Tucson Open. And who could forget the great one, Johnny Gunther from the Northwest.
Cellular One on cellular communication. How good is the best cellular phone if the system isn't smooth? Choose Cellular One. We're ironing out the wrinkles. We introduce 24-hour system monitoring to ensure clear conversation. We're constantly expanding coverage. Our customer service is right where you live and round the clock to keep things running smooth. Cellular One. Imagine. No limits. To learn more, call 1-800-IMAGINE.
This month on the Movie Channel. The movie anytime you want one channel. This month on the Movie Channel.
Install the Movie Channel at Showtime, $5 now, and receive a coupon for free Domino's Pizza.
Walter Ray has a strike in the 3rd, but is trailing by 21.
Well, a couple strikes and he's right back in the match. This is what match game play is all about. You have to respond to what your opponent does, and can't let him get too far ahead.
Ball rumbles around. He left the 10-pin the last trip, and this time he shakes him up for the strike and the double.
Interesting how those light hits sometimes will carry better than the pocket hits. Not that it's not in the pocket doing that. 5-step player, holds the ball waist high, now pushes it out. Basically right in time. The head goes a little bit forward. Backswing a little higher than shoulder high. Nice long slide. And that unorthodox finish.
Powerful, though, and on line. What an accurate player. Revs this one up and a little bit too much. Perhaps he got a little too juiced up and left the 3-6-10.
Well, what he got there is what we call the overreaction. He got that to the first board, and that first board banked back too hard.
Walter Ray shakes the head, realizes that the 1 board is not where he wants to be.
At least not that early on the lane. Three 6-10 cross lane. He'll rumble this one too.
close. And there's a look at Debbie Newkirk, who is Walter's sister. She lives here in the Tucson area.
Yeah, you see the family resemblance there.
Mm-hmm.
As we see this ball, if it hadn't hit the thumb hole, he never would have made the spare because he didn't get very much of that 3-6.
Stayrook works on the 3-bagger and a 14-pin advantage.
Boy, what a nice reaction he has. Just sends it out left of that first arrow, and as long as he trusts it and gets it off his hand clean, it comes back.
What a reaction at 50 feet.
Power, a lot of power. That ball covering that many boards in the last 10 feet of the lane.
Well, he has to be a very strong player because he's using virtually no momentum leg-wise to get to the line and or hit the ball with leverage.
Or swing-wise.
Yeah.
I mean, because he has such a short backswing. There we see the scoreboard, 24 pins. Trying to get his 5th in a row to bump it up to 34.
Well, that's inside the target.
Yep.
And he
what do we have?
the price.
The 2-4-6-10. You know, it used to be when you hit there, Den, that you left the 2-4-7 or the 2-4. Now when you hit there, you get company with it. So the way he wants to try and convert this is move to the right, get the ball into the oil, hit that 2-pin on the left, and slide it into the 6-10. And we can see the ball has been getting out to the first board. He's 4 or 5 boards right of where he wanted to be at that point. And there's the result. This could turn the match around. And 7 out. So a disastrous frame for Jess Stayrook. Suddenly, he's only 4 pins ahead. How quickly it turns around.
Walter Ray with a strike the last time on lane 16. With a double here, would retake the lead or take the lead for the first time in the match. A little more side roll. Ball rumbles up and he strikes. Very nice shot for Walter Ray.
Now what's going through his mind is, what is lane 15 going to do? I threw it wide last time and it bit so early, I can't quite get it that wide again. Walter, though, it seems like his ace in the hole always when he tries to make adjustments is with speed. And he goes more speed and more speed.
Well, that was harder. And the result was right there. Nice adjustment. Walter Ray vaults into the lead here in match number 1. And let's once again take a look back at some of the great PBA Hall of Famers that have won here. The Lobster in 1970, Larry Lott. And the great Jim Godman back in 1971. And we'll send you off with Paul Caldwell, who came back and bowled in this year's Tucson Open.
Tomorrow morning, experience a new high. Introducing Mountain Fresh Dial with a scent so big, so bold, so bracing, it's right up there with your peak experiences. New Mountain Fresh Dial.
First, toothpaste came in tubes, then in unsqueezable pumps. Now there's Neat Squeeze from Crest. Squeezes easily like a tube with the control of a pump and a pullback feature that makes brushing a lot less messy and a lot more fun. The new Neat Squeeze from Crest.
There's no dashboard light to warn you. No dipstick to check. Yet when warned, they could cause your car to lose control and braking. Don't find out your shocks and struts are worn by accident. Get your shocks and struts inspected at your Monroe retailer soon. Monroe, your safety could depend on it.
If it happens in baseball, you'll see it on ESPN. There he goes. He leaps. He makes the catch. See Tuesday night doubleheaders, Wednesday night excitement, Friday night twin bills, and exclusive Sunday night action. Ruben Sierra leads the Texas Rangers stampede through the AL West. Joe Carter pilots the high-flying first-place Blue Jays. The Rangers meet the Blue Jays live at 8 Eastern on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball.
What a turnaround. Stayrook led by 24 after 5 frames. Now he trails by 6 in the 7th.
Again, that's what match game play is all about. One mistake like that, these guys are like sharks. Blood in the water, and they see those opens.
Oh, boy. An explosive shot. And I kept my eye on the ball at about 50 feet, and that was at about the 3 board, Mike, so there appears to be a little area out there.
But again, his mistake has got to be left.
Sure.
He's got to trust it to the left. He can't make mistakes to the right like he did.
Sensational game for Stayroom, with the exception of that errant shot in the 6th frame.
3 frames left, 6 spins the difference. It's the bowler that can perform in the last frames that's going to win this match. Wider.
Boy, if he gets the ball to that point, Michael, the reaction is sensational.
And it'd be interesting to see what knocked the 7-pin over on that shot. Is it just kind of fell to the left from the breeze of the ball or something?
It was gang tackled.
Is that what it was?
Sure. A re-rack for Walter Ray on the right-hand lane. On working on a double, I should say.
Trying to take the lead back. He's high. And again, he got that bounce off the first board. And what happens there is you just get the ball to the first board too soon on the lane. Needs to get it there about a foot later. Thing to watch, Walter, watch his left hand. Here. See that left hand come way behind his head almost as he lets it go.
The other thing, and I know you've pointed this out in the past, Mike, which is really unusual, but I kind of like it to a certain degree, is the fact that Walter Ray bounces that ball back on his backswing, then drops it back into the slot when he starts the forward swing.
It's away from his body, and then, as you say, brings it back in, and it's right in line from the top of the swing all the way on down. It's just, you know, as you get older, and he's over 30 now, it gets harder to do that on a consistent basis.
Needs it in the foundation frame, and oh, he did not like it when it left his hand, and so Walter Ray is in a position now where he's going to have to hope that Stayroom struggles in the latter stages.
He's going to have to hope Stayroom stops striking, but again, he just can't get that ball to the first board too soon. This is exactly what happened again. It hits it there, and it goes left immediately, and he knew it. He knew it had no chance. Well, his face said it all.
Covers up to 6-10, trails by 8, and Jess Stayroom could put him away very quickly.
And Walter, you know, when he had the opportunity to take the lead back and would perform well, we said the player that performed well in the last frames would win. Didn't perform very well in the 8th tonight. Even room. Boy, he gets the room. You can almost write it up, can't you?
Pretty shot. As a matter of fact, he has yet to leave anything, Mike, when he does get the ball to the area that he wants it.
Yeah, the only time he's left something when it went right through the heart of the pins, and he had a bunch of them up there then.
Started the game with a 3-pin and had the disaster in the 6th. Since that time, he's strung together 3 more strikes, though, and he appears to be ready to move on to match number 2.
Well, he still needs some kind of spare strike now. The 6-8 was there for a freckle, but they both fell.
So Stayroom will move on. And meanwhile, Walter Ray, since winning in '87, will now move to 13-22 overall in championship round play, and he'll just have to keep the chin up and come back another day.
And Jess has defeated one former PBA Player of the Year. Now he's got a former Firestone winner in his path.
Extremely talented, versatile crew on the telecast here this afternoon. Whoever wins this one will have earned it. Seems that this tournament, though, through the years has always brought out the best in the PBA players.
Did you see that little move, though, that he, experimentation there? He moved inside. Now, we talked to John Mazza during the practice balls. He said that the left-handers could play either in or out, that he had a shot either place. Jess showed us that by moving in close to the 4th arrow and striking on that second ball in the 10th.
You mentioned that, Mike, and it brings up another interesting point. As I talked to John Mazza, he said if Jess plays out and wins 2 or 3 games, there's a good chance I'll end up playing in because I don't think the shot will be very good out there. So it's almost like he's going to do the opposite of what Stayrook is doing if he gets the kind of reaction he wants. Another experimentation shot there that obviously worked, but it was on the wrong side.
It's the right strike with his strikes. He had, what, 10 strikes in that game for 250 even.
So for Walter Ray, a 5th place finish here in Tucson. And he really made a beautiful run last night to solidify his position in the championship round, but he'll just have to shake this one off.